What's going on, guys? In typical Cyto fashion, we start working and press record, and it works out because yesterday I was on one. My hair wasn't done, I was a shaggy mess, so now you get handsome Thaddeus, who's in a better mood today. Anyways, we have a commercial project that we're doing some framing in, already did some demo, so we'll walk through it. We have a big warehouse space right here, and we're going to be essentially incorporating more of the office area and turning it into warehouse space. Now this is going to be part of a loft. So it'll be a workspace underneath. They're going to have a plastic divider here because they're going to be running table saws, woodworking stuff, things like that. So they want to be able to keep all the dust kind of out of this space where they're doing the rest of their work. But they also need storage. So that's going to be what goes on up here. Now, we're building this to the customer's specifications, what they've asked for. And they want a 9-foot roof deck underneath. So that's going to be the top of our double top plate right there. We're going to have all our joists sit up there. And then on top of that, you'll have your deck up top. We set a header right here for the doorway underneath because we're going to be carrying the joists. We're going to be doing, we'll do 2x8s. We're going to be spanning about 16 feet, and then 2x8s are rated to go 16 feet, but we're going to kind of take it a step further. And instead of going 16-inch on center, we're going to go 12-inch on center. And then with our plywood, we could do half-inch plywood, but we're going to upsize that and go 3/4 as well, just so that anything that they're putting up there, it's well supported, not going to have any issues, all that good stuff. So we'll step on in. We've got everything locked off at the corner there. We've got everything, we've got extra nailers for our drywall on the side, and then we've got it anchored in on this side to the CMU. So we have the conduit that's staying. We've got all the power that's running down the wall that needs to stay. So we ended up splitting these two guys right here. That one's ground contact, so that's why we did pressure treated. Locked those into the wall, and that helps us actually lock in that wall right there. Once we get the joists running across, it'll help lock it in once again, but more the merrier. Anyways, over in this area, I'm not sure if the camera's gonna be able to pick it up, but we've got some red chalk lines on the ground right now. And this was something that we switched gears with at the last minute, but we were originally going to have our wall 16 feet start from here and run that way, but now we shifted our wall out and we're going to run a glue lam over here. So we're going to have a short wall, king studs, jack studs, which we'll show you later, and then it'll carry our beam all the way across to more king studs, jack studs, and then we'll be able to run all our joists that way. We're going to be using hangers instead of running it on top of the beam for this guy. And the reason why is that we don't want that beam to hang down into our space more than it needs to. We're trying to keep the ceiling detail as consistent as possible. And so that's why we're doing it that way. Deck height will all be the same. You're not going to have some weird jog in the deck height. So that's what it is. This guy right here, we have a second story that lands on top of this wall. Now you might be going, you tore the wall out, it's coming down. No, it's not. There is a girder truss that's up here, and I'm not sure if Logan can get a good video of any of the good girder trusses up there without just looking at the sun. But you have one that runs inside of the wall that we just looked at that goes all the way from that block area and keeps on going. So all of this is non-load bearing. So we could just take this whole thing out. So we'll get this finished off, and then we'll be good to go. So we're gonna do some drywall on the walls after we're all done. We'll have a couple can lights underneath as well, but for the most part, that's what we're doing. So we are right now getting ready to frame up these two portions of the wall as we wait for the delivery of our glue lam. I keep wanting to say LVL. It's a glue lam. And then we're gonna get that framed, joists run, deck it, keep rolling, and then we'll see you here in a second. Just like that, we're back. We've got our joists set for the most part all the way through. We've got 5 left down here, but I'll take you inside to take a look at what we did. So we put, I'll start here, I guess. We put these little blocks up. We just use screws so that we could set our rim joist up here. And these will come off afterwards, so they're not an eyesore and it looks dumb. But anyways, coming on the inside, I'll show you over here because it's probably better lighting. Essentially, we have the same thing, a rim joist in the back, and that way we can tag our nails to it right there. That's what we have going all around that wall right there. So it's nice that we can get all of those nailed off all the way around. Now, when we transition to our beam, which first let's take a look at this beautiful wall. We anchored this to the block, anchored the rim joist to the block so that that is now locked in. We're not going to be able to move. This is locked in as well. So nice and stable. We've got a beam, our beam that runs all the way across, and then we use the 2x8 joist hangers to carry everything on this side. So like we talked about, everything's 1 foot on center. So essentially we're going to be taking like 30% of the weight off of each joist if we were to have done it 16 inches on center. So we're going to get those wrapped up all the way down, and then yesterday we wanted to just make sure that we nailed our layout, and it looks like we hit it pretty good. So we started popping some plywood up there just to take a look. So now we're going to finish getting these guys set up over here. Then we're going to start throwing all the plywood up, get that all done, and then we've got some blocking to do and some miscellaneous odds and ends with the framing, getting stuff prepped for drywall. So we'll jump into a time lapse here in just a second. So enjoy the show. All right, guys, quick time lapse for you. We are getting the rest of the joists filled up currently, getting the edge detail taken care of before we start stacking the rest of the sheathing up top. We're getting the full pieces set before we do our cuts, and then we'll get the railing set up and the rest of it all nailed down. All right, guys, we are wrapping up the framing that we had for our project. Drywallers are getting ready to do their thing, so want to walk through a couple of the details that we went through. So we've got our railing on the outside that we sheathed with 3/4 plywood. We hung the 2x6 up top over an extra 1.125", and the reason why is we're going to have the drywall that goes all the way up to that and then hangs over by 1/2 inch right there. We've got our opening strapped up. We ended up having to redo our opening because we were off on that. So we ended up just filling it in on top with full blocking all the way. On the inside, I forget what we did on the last update, but we've got all our joists hanging from our beam, everything strapped up, all the hangers are in, and we got all those guys filled in. Got to use the new Milwaukee palm nailer. That was pretty awesome for the 3-inch nails for Ticos. Don't really need it, but super cool. H25s all around. It's a little dark in here, so we still have to get our lights in. But other than that, we're pretty good there. We've got our mid-span blocking that goes all the way. And then we had that, we put that right on the seam of all our plywood so that we've got extra support right there just to even make it stronger. So looking over here, we may have talked about our beautiful saddle on our beam right there, locks that all in so we've got no twisting. And then on this guy right here, we set a 4x4 post and we've got our two 2x8s on top of it. We've got this 2x4 in the back that locks those two 2x8s in so that, because we didn't really have a bucket that we could have, I guess we could maybe put a bucket, but anyways, we're gonna forget that for now because we put this 2x4 on the back, nailed the crap out of it, so it's holding it there. And then we've got our joists that run all the way across, and then we've got our joist hangers over there, and then we tagged this guy up to the side of our beam. So that should be all ready to go. We're gonna get this all wrapped up with drywall. We've prepped the openings, but we're gonna kind of skip that for now. Electrical is getting dealt with later. So we'll cut here for a second, and then with movie magic, we'll be up top. All right, guys, we're up on our deck. We got everything filled in. So we had that extra 2x over here to provide the support. We've got that all screwed down, notched for this guy right here. We screwed all this down, and we even put, we use screws on the hanger on this side, just in case they need to do anything in the future. They can pull the boards up, get that undone. Electricians can get to it. They also have access at the joints right there. So we kind of locked it in, but it is one of those things where they can still access it in the future. Then we went around, continued our railing on this corner, and then I'm pretty proud of how flush and tight that detail came out right there. There's going to be no drywall up here on the interior, but they've got kids that are sons and daughters of the owners of the company that work here. So they just want to make sure that no one's falling off the edges, especially into this area over here and obviously off the front. So anyways, going around, what we did was we went 4x4 posts that go all the way through and are ledger lock screws into the rim joist of our deck. Did a mid-span 2x4 in between. Other people are still working here, obviously. But then we just did that 4x4 post roughly every 4 feet, this in between. We didn't do the electrical. Just want to let you know, we're only doing the lights. But that's what we did all the way. And then we've got our 2x6, like we mentioned, no drywall. So we were able to hang it a little less for that 1/2-inch reveal right there. So super happy with how this one turned out. It was a lot of work, but we cranked it out. So we're going to clean up, get out of here. Drywallers are going to do their thing, so I might have a video on that. They asked us just to drywall it, fire tape it, because it's going to be a workspace for a lot of their woodworking. And then I've got to get the 4 lights in here. So probably short update coming to you in just a second. But other than that, bulk of the work's done. We're cleaned up. We're getting out.